All right, so Twitter wants to know, hey, Bedard, why do you hate Christian Gonzalez, Bedard?
Well, it's a good question. And of course, as usual with Twitter and social media and everything, not an accurate question. Okay. So first of all, I do not hate Christian Gonzalez. The kid looks like a freaking stud on the field in shorts and a shirt. He does. He looks the part. He's long. He's fast. He's fluid. He's got explosive. Look, if I was starting this flag football league, he'd be like one of my number one picks. Okay, so that's where he is on the field. We don't know what he's going to look like in pads come the summer. Even guys like Matthew Judon were saying that about some of the younger guys. Like, everybody looks good in shorts and T-shirts. Okay, so there's that.
CLNS Media's Patriots coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
Then there's the other element where, we heard him talk to the media for the first time. And my impression, and it doesn't mean anything, my impression was, now I understand why some teams, and this is a fact, that some NFL teams questioned Christian Gonzalez's makeup, his compete, whether he had the edge to be a number one cornerback in this league due to his personality. Okay? Sometimes this stuff sometimes doesn't add up. Sometimes it's a bunch of old scout malarkey. That happens. Sometimes it's accurate. For example, I will tell you, and you can go back, I can see the cover on my wall right now. The cover story that I did on Marcus Mariota coming out of Oregon, that one of the biggest minuses about Mariota and why he went behind Jameis Winston in the draft was because teams didn't think that he had that alpha in him, that they didn't want a quarterback who wasn't an alpha, who was more soft-spoken, what have you. And they were afraid of that with Marcus Mariota. I disagreed with that at the time. I thought this kid is too good. He's too talented. No, I disagree with those guys. I think that's a bunch of malarkey. Well, they were probably right. Even though there were extenuating circumstances, Marcus Mariota, like all players, might have been a better player in a better system. Like, for example, if he was with Kyle Shanahan from the start, instead of 4 different offensive coordinators and systems in 4 years in Tennessee, could he have been a superstar? Hell yeah, he could have been. But, that happens. But back to Christian Gonzalez. Just hearing him talk, all I'm doing is saying, now you understand why some teams had a question about whether he can be a number one cornerback in this league without sort of that swag. And people can say, well, Stephon Gilmore was soft-spoken. Yes, he was. But there was never any doubt that Stephon Gilmore didn't think he was the cock of the walk. That guy had swag. And he would say certain things. He was quiet, and sometimes you couldn't hear him across the room, but he said the right things, and he exuded confidence. And let's also remember this. Stephon Gilmore, on his first day of training camp practice as a Patriot, after being signed, getting all that money while Malcolm Butler got stiffed, fought Julian Edelman off the field. They went at it. Haymaker after haymaker. His first day, okay? So, you could say that about, or you could say the what about, you can do the whataboutism. I'm just telling you, I don't hate Christian Gonzalez. The kid looks amazing, in shorts. I think he's going to be good. Would I have taken him there? Yes. I've said that 8 billion times. Would I still take him there? Yes. But you can see why there are concerns about his sort of quiet nature. Does that mean it's not roaring underneath? We don't know. And in fact, if I'm Bill Belichick, maybe I pay somebody to get after Christian Gonzalez, like maybe Julian Edelman did on that first day of training camp. See what the kid is made out of. See if he has that fight. Because, I don't think he's shown it in his college career. He hasn't shown it so far as the Patriots. Doesn't mean it's not there. But that's basically how he answers that question will determine whether he is truly a number one cornerback in this league or else he's just a really good number 2. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with that either.
From the confidence standpoint, I get the idea of, you got to have swag if you're going to be a CB1. Totally get that. From the physicality standpoint, I think that stuff is overblown, especially at that position. Look, if this guy can lock down people, it doesn't matter if he's screaming around the field and hurling his body into traffic and all. That's overblown. Let's see if he's sticky on coverage. If he's sticky on coverage and shuts down number one receivers, couldn't care less about, swag and how much he talks or how loud he talks to the media. None of that will matter. None of us know until he's actually out there on the field. What I will say is, as a cover corner, the dude did show out last year in college. And the two things that they talked about him improving in, he did improve as a downhill tackler, not incredible, but he did show some steps of progression, and also plays on the ball. He showed progression there with, I think, 4 picks last season. So when this guy has had questions about him on the field, he has followed up and answered those questions. Right now, we have no reason to doubt that he will at the NFL level. We'll see. We'll see how all of this translates on the field. We'll see when he gets pads on. But I do think at that specific position, yes, confidence is a thing. Physicality, trying to be a tough guy, a lot less of a thing. If this was a linebacker, defensive lineman, offensive lineman, I think that's a better question. But for now, let's see what he looks like in pads. His talent is there. His athleticism is there. And couldn't care less if this dude was mute for his entire NFL career if he shuts receivers down.
CLNS Media's Patriots coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.